What is going on, guys? Fighting Game Select is here. We are back again to talk about some Street Fighter. I am here with iDom. iDom, what's good, dog?
What's up? What's up?
Around a Christmas time, Santa Claus came through with some gifts of clips of Street Fighter 5, and it created some controversy because that's what bringing old games always do.
Yeah.
Is Street Fighter 5 better than Street Fighter 6? Now, I want to go ahead and ask you on your personal opinion. Do you think Street Fighter 5 is better than Street Fighter 6?
In my opinion, I mean, SF6 is better than SF5 for like a product thing, like a whole product placement, because it's like, it's a, functioning netcode, good characters, good launch, all that good stuff. So I feel like it's good for what it's worth. And like fighting, I feel like Street Fighter 6 definitely made the fighting game brand or like package much higher. So like SF6 definitely kind of pushed the envelope in terms of that. So I think SF6 did a lot of good for fighting game packages in general. But I mean, there are some things that like SF5 did better than 6 for sure. But I feel like there's more stuff that 6 did better than 5 did better than 6. So
what would you think? What would you say is the most fun? Like which game? If you had to, if there was a perfect world where you could be like, yo, you want to play CPT, and you had to pick the peak of Street Fighter 5 season and the peak of Street Fighter 6 season currently. Which one would you play?
It's just a hard question because, like, I think in general, I think 6 probably has a better. I think you're arguing from two different sides of things. Like casually, I think 6 has more stuff. There's more stuff to invest in. You can have more fun with the drive system. You could do all that good stuff. But for like 5, I feel like if you're a competitive player or you're a tournament player or you're really trying to improve, I feel like there's more stuff you could kind of hone in and practice and, get good and like apply yourself to different things, as opposed to like SF6 where it's like, oh, well, this is kind of just how you play the game and this is kind of how the game's gonna be like. SF5 in the beginning was also really bad too. Like, even like I say this a lot, during the beginning of SF5, I wasn't even really playing SF5 like that. I was playing games like Overwatch and like I was
It's so funny here. It's so funny here, yo. Every time I hear your lore, I always laugh.
I
was playing Overwatch.
5 was bad in the beginning for sure. I wasn't like a super into Street Fighter 5 in the beginning, but even then, like, I think 6 would probably get better like more so because like season 3 of Street Fighter 5 really when it started getting better. So I'm curious to see how SF6 goes about season 3, because I think that's like a huge usual turning point in Street Fighter, because season 3 of Street Fighter 4 was technically, what was that was AE. Then same thing with Street Fighter 5, we had arcade edition for Street Fighter 5. I mean, maybe we might get an arcade edition for Street Fighter 6 this upcoming season, and we'll have some cool characters or fun stuff to play with.
Do you think that the game needs to rework the system that it has right now, Street Fighter 6 wise, or do you think it needs more mechanics? While with fine tuning of the mechanics currently to make the game more competitive. Like, what do you feel like? Those like, how can we push that to have that competitive love that people have for Street Fighter 5? Like, what do you think would be like the major key? Like, what would that be?
I just think they need. It's a hard question because I feel like the mechanics are very overbearing, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of players, if you ask a lot of the tournament players, they'll tell you, yeah, the system feels like it's overbearing. I feel like I'm finding the mechanics more than the player. But you really don't know what Capcom wants to do when they're looking for that kind of stuff. Do they want the game to be like this? Maybe this is just, Nakayama's vision, or it's a hard to tell. And like I said, none of us are like talking to the dev. I can't just hit up Nakayama and be like, yo, man, what are your plans for season 3 kind of thing. So we're kind of just hoping something good comes out of this, or something like meta defining or game changing happen, because I will say for SF, at least for the beginning of SF6 to at least now, currently, the game's pretty much still being played how it was in the beta, at least. So I hope something switches along those lines.
What are the things about Street Fighter V that you don't like?
Oh, SF5, bro. What did I not like about SF5?
I know you didn't like the V shift.
Yeah. V shift is probably the number one offender, but in theory, it wasn't a bad idea. I just felt like it applied too late in the game's lifespan that they didn't like think about it. So I think if they like reworked a lot of the knockdowns, but then like I said, that's a lot of work to do, kind of thing. Like for the dev standpoint, because. Well, like one of my biggest complaints, I'm gonna super nerd out on 5 real quick. One of my biggest complaints was like certain characters like Mika, she would get a knockdown, but there was no way she could. Every character could basically OS a V shift to get a punish, but not every character was built like that. So they would have to rework every knockdown that allowed the characters to do that, or give the characters a normal that'll be able to punish it. But then, like I said, that's a lot of work and there's a lot of fine tuning, and I knew they weren't gonna do that. So. I thought V-Shift wasn't a bad idea, but they had to rework so much of the game that would have made it a bad idea. The thing with 6 is like, it's kind of the same problem, but the fix is just give everyone a throw loop, which I think is a lazy way to fix it, kind of thing.
Do you think the game is really designed around throw loop? Do you think it's possible to like have it where it doesn't revolve around throw loop? Do you think the game will still be good?
I think it's a hard thing, and I think the way they kind of designed the game kind of needs it to be like that. So, I don't know. I think people still play the game, so obviously it's not the say all be all. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think a lot of the players at like lower level, like the diamonds and lowers, are getting throw loop like that. So obviously they're not gonna complain about it too much. But when you're going to like a tournament, I know Daigo talked about it as well. He's like the one reason he thinks a lot of people don't go to tournaments, or less people are going to tournaments now, or it's just because you don't want to fly 8 to 12 hours to get throw looped by Bison out the bracket, and then you're like sad and you're just like, man, I just wasted my time. So I don't know, I feel like it's a double-edged sword. I feel like I think it's good because it gets more people playing, and like you can see something and be like, hey, I could do that too. But at the same time, I think losing like that is like one of the most unfun ways to lose in a fighting game. And I've played a lot of fighting games. I think I'd rather get X Factor 3 Phoenix than lose to getting throw loop by Ken. To be honest, especially too that like when you're playing like a lot of players, or when you're practicing for a lot of things and like. Skillfully, like hand-wise, you're good. But let's say, for example, you're like one of the best players that can touch fighting games, but your luck value is not good. That means that when you run into a game like Street Fighter 6, because a lot of the scenarios when you get in throw loop, is you're guessing if a person is going to keep throwing you. It's not fun, and I think it's not casually fun too. Like, imagine a person want to get good and they watch somebody throw spike 20 times and they're like, oh, that's it. I think Punk said it best. I think he had said when the game first came out, the thing with throw loops is like it's so easy to teach, but I don't think players realize how strong it actually is. Like it's probably the easiest thing to teach anyone because it boils down as simply as, oh, if you think they're going to tech, walk back a bit and shimmy them, and if you think they're going to. And if they do anything else, but if they do a tech, you punish the tech. If they jump, you anti-air them. They're in the same situation. It's probably the easiest thing in all of Street Fighter 6 to probably teach. But I don't know. I've always had this conspiracy theory that people don't know that throws are in the game until they at least hit like Diamond or Master. But
honestly, you're not lying, bro. The only people that know that throws is in the game are key players.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're like Platinum or lower, unless you play a command grab character, you don't know that throw, like a normal throw, exists. And I think it's so true. And I've watched some matches of people at low level, and I'm like, bro, why is nobody throw looping the other person? And it's just like, it's so daunting.
I remember Street Fighter 5 had throw loops, and then they took it away.
Oh, they throw loops in 5 were really bad too, but that lasted for like a season. And like I think a lot of people, well, the first season it was there, but there was an OS to beat throw loop, so it wasn't that bad.
But then they took the OS away.
Yeah, then they took the OS away in season 2, which was a really bad season because people were just getting throw looped and dying, and then they took it immediately out in season 3. So, I think, like I said, I hope season 3 kind of happens with that. But even to say we didn't even have an OS in season 1 that was, you know, beating throw loop. So I don't know what direction we're going with this game.
Yeah, man. Like I'm curious of like because throw loop has been in the game for 2 seasons. Well, it's weird. I feel like they sort of try to take throw loop away, or they took like half of the throw loops away, like the back throws. They took that away.
Yeah, that one's still very prevalent. I feel like
yeah, but I don't know if that helped. You know what I mean?
It
like,
didn't.
Honestly.
It really didn't.
Yeah, I don't think it helped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like when season 4 was like peak of Street Fighter V. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would probably say season 4 or the season after the Seth season. I did not hate the Seth season. Everyone would be like, oh, there were so many Seths running around. Seth was like the best character for that game because Seth was really good, but he had so many bad matchups and problems as the character. I think he was very easy to use, but I think it was very hard to be good with Seth, in my opinion.
Honestly, yeah, I think with Seth, they didn't really get like really crazy until like the second part of season 4 when he started changing, or was that season 5?
No, that was season 5. That was the season after Capcom Cup, because Seth had came out and then they nerfed Seth a little bit in like a season 0.5 update. But even during the 0.5 update, Seth was like, everyone was like, Seth's still the best, Seth's still the best. But I was like, the character he's good for sure. And then it was, I don't know. I feel like Seth was massively overrated for like a lot of the season, which I think is good. I think when the best character is overrated, I think that leads to a healthy season. But like in Street Fighter 6's case, I guess a lot of the best characters are always, you know, he's gonna low forward drive rush or throw loop me kind of thing. So like,
yeah,
you kind of already know what you're gonna get.
Would you be okay with low forward drive rush if throw loop wasn't in the game?
I think it would be less annoying because you'd be more willing to take throws in certain scenarios. And
let them burn the resources, right?
Yeah. Like 3 bars for a throw wouldn't be that bad. But then also, I think it would be a problem of stalling starts becoming such a huge factor. And then, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of moving pieces with how the drive meter system works. Because even Guile doesn't do low forward in the throw loop. But even, I think Guile's stalling is insanely good for how the drive meter works, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard for him to get burnt out.
Even Ed's like that too. Ed's like an insanely good staller for what he can do. So even when you're low on drive meter, or say you do like crouch medium in the drive rush in the throw, he's just gonna stall out his drive meter again anyway.
Oh yeah, it feels like they make one change, a lot of the pieces like kind of crumble, huh?
Yeah, that's the thing with 6. It's too many moving pieces. With Street Fighter 5, I felt like the main moving piece was kind of V-trigger, which was kind of like the say-all be-all. But even then, it was kind of like, oh, is your V-trigger a massive comeback mechanic? Oh, it's a 3-bar V-trigger. Is your V-trigger a utility? Oh, it's a 2-bar V-trigger. And then that was kind of like how they balanced it. But like, with a lot of the stuff being the same in this game, it really is kind of like hard to mess with anything. One of the big changes I actually hope they do in at least future Street Fighter 6 update, how they go back on the health values. I really don't like everyone having the same health. I think that's one of the bad kind of ideas, in my opinion.
Yeah, Chun-Li having average health is great.
Yeah, Chun-Li, Guile, Dhalsim, all these characters, Cammy, like Rashid, had less health in 5. Like a lot of these characters actually shouldn't have this much health.
I agree with that. I think health values really do matter when you're playing at the highest level, because you know now when you hit those characters, you get the reward after that. You know what I mean? So yeah. Maybe that's something that they'll bring. I mean, I don't think that it's hard to balance around that.
I think little things like that allow the game's balancings to kind of be better. Because, like, I know nobody likes the whole glass cannon archetype, or like, oh, my character deserves this because they have low health. But in reality, it does help. Like, Zato used to explode, like Akuma explode.
Dude, imagine Zato had pot health?
Yeah, like, it really just helps the balance of the game. Like, come on, we need characters to not have the same amount of health. That was one of the main things, like, when 6 was coming out. I was like, why is this a thing? This is so weird. Even Dragon Ball FighterZ had that, and I was like, this is dumb. There's no reason Krillin should have as much health as like Zamasu or something.
Yeah, and then he throwing out sensu beans. But okay, now I have to ask you the real question, man. Okay, if you had to choose right now, like what game you want to play, and you got the same perks as you're getting currently, what game would you play?
This is a setup. Like you're telling me,
I'm setting you up.
The same CPT, the same netcode, same all that stuff. You're setting me up.
modern controls, everything. Like
wait, this modern in Street Fighter 5 now?
I'm saying like all of the good things that made Street Fighter 6 popular. But let's say, for example, they both did the same thing, but you could choose what game you wanted to play competitive and get the same perks as, like, you know, your content creation doing great, you know, the tournament runs doing great, you're in CPT. Like, if you had to choose the perfect world with the good of everything, what game would you be playing?
I would only take SF5 only because I missed the offline CPT. This online CPT so bad. I miss offline CPT.
Season,
I hate online CPT. I feel like online CPT made me lazy. I feel like I don't even like practice and play as much as I used to, because like it was different going to an event and be like, man, I'm about to fly like 5 hours to, you know, fight this dude. I gotta make sure I'm not gonna waste my time flying somewhere to just lose to somebody I'm not prepared for. Now it's like,
so you'll go to your local, go to your locals, play with your locals, and then you got local players that want to beat you too. So it makes you play. It keeps you like consistently, because your goal is like, all right, I'm using my local. I can't lose games, because if I lose games, then I go out there, I'm not winning. So I need to.
Yeah. You want to practice up and, you know, always like touch up and be strong. But like even like when I play in like more of the online brackets, I'm just like, it's whatever. And then I was like Alt F4 if I lose, and then if even playing in like offline tournaments is like, man, I flew out here and I just got, you know, thrown by Ken or something, and then it's just like, it's whatever. What am I gonna do? I feel like the way the game kind of been structured has been making me more lazy about how I go about things.
I mean, Guilty Gear. I felt like there was a lot of people that actually wanted to win. They wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I see people now, people just want to be known of being good.
I think it's much harder now to be the best quote unquote Street Fighter player, because it's like you'll play somewhere and then it's like, oh man, you know, this guy can't be the best. You won this bracket and then he drowned in pools the next bracket, and then it's like, oh man, how'd you drown in pools? Aren't you supposed to be the best player? And it's so like streaky, I want to say, with how the events actually happen. You could do good one tournament and then, you know, you could get smoked the next tournament and people would just be like, it's SF6 kind of thing. And I really don't like that, because I feel like that's like it's either a game problem or like it's a player problem, but like a lot of the time people just boil it down to a game problem.
I guess we're playing Street Fighter 5 in iDom's world, huh?
It's a good game. Unironically, it's not my favorite fighting game, because, you know, Marvel 3 is the best, but I think ending Street Fighter 5 of all the games, it'll probably be top 5, maybe top 7 at the end. I think Street Fighter 5 was pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, look, we're gonna talk about Street Fighter 6. What could make it better on the next video? I'm gonna hit you up. We're gonna make some time and hit you up, and we're gonna talk about this. And I want to hear your thoughts. Now, how can we make Street Fighter 6 on par of Street Fighter 5 Season 5 quality of game competitively? All right. But before we do that, where can they find you, dude?
Follow me, iDom NYC and iDom FGC on YouTube as well. I've been putting out a lot of YouTube videos.
With that being said, make sure you guys leave a like. Let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel? What game you guys enjoy the most? Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6. What game you like? What game you enjoy watching the most? Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6. And do you like upsets? Do you like when games you get to see your favorite player battle it out with some of the best players and try to push their way to become number one? You guys let me know in the comment section below, and we see you guys in the next episode. Peace.